Welcome back everybody to Maintenance Made on a Budget. Today we're going to be repainting the kitchen cabinets or the kitchen countertops. And we've already painted these about a year and a half ago with tile paint. And this time we're going to redo it with Rust-Oleum appliance epoxy. So as you can see, about a year and a half use. It kind of peeled up around some of the corners here. But this kitchen had some real heavy use, so with the previous tenants. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and start off by cleaning all the counters off. We're also going to paint the sink. And then I'm going to tape everything off. And we'll show you how we do that. As far as cleaning, I'm just going to use a scrub pad and scrub all the grease, dirt, and grime off the tops, and then we're going to sand. I'm going to use heavy grit 120 sandpaper with my electric sander and sand all the surface, scrape all these paint chips up, smooth everything out, and then we'll show you when we start that. Okay, so we're going to start sanding. I just use 120 grit sand, but you can see what I'm going to smooth down all these chips that didn't make it over the year. We're going to smooth all this out, and you can see I've already started. And then I'm going to sand everything in the counter. But all of this was previously painted by tile paint, which was a two-part epoxy mix that I ordered on Amazon. It's really strong stuff, but it lasted pretty good. It lasted really well for a year and a half. But this time we're going to try the appliance epoxy. So this is how I'm sanding it. I'm just going to keep sanding all the way through, and then we're going to go ahead and wipe that off. And then I'm going to, once I wipe it off, I'm going to scratch it by hand to just have a rough surface. And then we'll tape everything off, and then we'll start painting, and I'll show you how to paint. But before we do, if you like these videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Alright, so I've sanded all the rough spots. We did all the kitchen, the counters. I've already taped everything off. I've already wiped everything down. So what I'm going to do now, I've already got the paint ready to go. But before I do that, I just want to rough up all the areas that I want to paint first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit all these bad areas up. Let that dry, put another coat, let that dry as much as I need to. And then the last layer, I will paint everything. We'll do these. I'm just looking to scratch it up. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll just wipe it all down with a damp rag. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So like I said, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm using the epoxy Rust-Oleum appliance paint. I heard some good things about it, so we're going to give it a shot for countertops. I bought this roller. All this was purchased at Home Depot. I got the foam roller. I've heard some bad reviews about these things, but generally my surface is clean, so this should be fine. The surface is smooth. So we're going to go ahead and get that. And like I said, what I want to do, since I'm just resurfacing this countertop, I redid all of this, well, almost 2 years ago. And these tiles were stained yellow. They were old, so we sanded that, wiped that down, and painted the tile paint. And the tile paint has really held together pretty well. However, some of these really high use areas started chipping away. And so you can see it's got a lot of air bubbles in it. So we'll see how this comes out. I said, I'm just going to come across and get all those bad spots first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this and do all the rough spots, and then I'll show you what that looks like when it's dry before I paint everything. Okay, now we're going to do the sink. You can scan through here. So what I did on the counters, I don't know if you can see it, but I just started with all the rough spots first, even on that side. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll put a second coat over all my rough spots. So while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and start with the sink. And same process with the sink. We sanded it all down, wiped it down, and then I scratched the surface. And then from there, you just start with the paint. So the way I normally do these is we just start from the bottom, and I work my way like this. Right. Well, I do the same thing with these sinks. So this paint, as I said a few times already, was a tile paint, and it did pretty well for a year and a half, almost 2 years, considering that this is really heavy use on the sink. But it definitely started to break down towards the end. So I'm hoping this appliance paint may do a better job. So we'll see. But anyway, this is how we're going to do this. I just work it up. Start from the bottom. Really, there's no way to specifically do it. Just get in there and get it done. But with this appliance paint, you'll notice when you lay it down, all these little bubbles pop up, and then they go away and seal up. And makes a really nice coat. Right. So keep doing that. Come up. And I'll come over here. And I'll definitely put multiple layers in the sink on this. Okay, so you just work it all the way around. And I'll go ahead and finish this, let everything dry. I'll put a second coat on all my heavy spots here that chipped up on me before. I'm going to do them again. And then after 2 or 3 coats of that with the sink, I'll do one final coat. So we're probably looking at 4 coats altogether. And then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so this is my first coat. I'm going to let it dry now, probably for about a good hour. You can see I've already got the sink. And I want to let that set up real nice, and then I want to put another second coat on that. And then I only did the rough spots on here. So we'll let this dry for about an hour. And then I'll probably put a second coat. And this is where the real rough area was. But so far I'm real happy with the way this paint is laying out and setting up, and it's not so, the aroma is not so bad, because with the tile paint, and I'll reference it here in a minute when I get the information of it, but the tile paint that I used for the showers and kitchen countertops was really, really strong. So far so good. All right, and I'll let you know where the final product, when we're at the final stage. All right, guys, this is the finished product. So I ended up doing about 3 coats. It came out pretty good, I will say. This stuff is much more easier to work with than the tile paint. It definitely is not that strong. but it came out really good. Alright, so if you like that video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my videos. And thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.